So when PPSA came in, I thought, wow, I'm able to help,
So what's PPSA for our listeners that may not know?
So that is the Personal Property Securities Act. And it was introduced in 2012. And its purpose was to streamline the process and the laws surrounding the taking and the granting of security within Australia.
And that's for non-property assets, correct?
Yes. So personal property is a bit misleading, the term. What it actually means is anything that is not real property or water rights. So anything that is movable, tangible.
It's not bolted down?
Yes.
PPSA related.
Yes. What's some examples of some of the things you commonly see? Are we talking sort of large equipment and cars, that sort of thing? Is that sort of the more common?
Yes. So there are 24 collateral classes under PPSA. So there's financial property, there's intellectual property, there's aircraft, boats, motor vehicles, and then pretty much everything else. So there's lots, and it's pretty much everything that is not land or water rights.
Yeah.
But the really significant part of PPSA for commercial businesses is that 2 transactions that we were all used to working with prior to PPSA became security interests and became registerable as a result of this legislation. And the first one is where a business sells goods on credit subject to retention of title. So it's very common. In fact, I've never seen a set of terms and conditions in my whole insolvency, since I've come here to Australia, that don't contain a retention of title clause. So it's basically, paraphrased to say, although we deliver these goods to you, they don't actually become yours until you pay us the money for them.
Yeah. So our tradies, that's your materials. That's the biggest example, I think.
Yeah.
Is you put materials on site, your terms should say they are yours until you pay us for them.
Yes, absolutely. Now that becomes a security interest under this new legislation, which needs to be registered. Yeah. Now people go, does that mean I have to register every invoice? No, it doesn't. It is one registration. It costs $6, the government fee, and it lasts for 7 years, and it covers all supplies you make within that 7 years to that customer.
Yeah. $6 is hardly an excuse not to do it, is there?
Absolutely. It's knowing that no matter what happens, you're not having to monitor that customer to see what your exposure is on an ongoing basis.
Yeah.
You do that registration and then you can sleep at night. Now, not only have you got security in what you deliver under this new legislation, when your customer sells it on, you've got security in the book debt that's created from the sale. So what that means is that even though he's sold it, you can still get paid because you stand in his shoes and are entitled to the money if he goes bust.
Which is secure creditor?
Yes, become a secured creditor with the highest possible priority. You come first.
So potentially even before the lenders?
Yes, even before the insolvency practitioner.
Or the ATO then in that instance, because usually they've been trading for a while before they get themselves into trouble and you've already secured your interest first.
Yes.
Yeah. That's huge knowledge for anyone listening today as to how do you protect your business with the simplest cost of $6, which just add it into your costings when you're invoicing your clients, build it into your job prices. It's $6. Like, it's not a lot of money. And also then you notify them that you're now a secured creditor.
It's knowing that no matter what happens, you're not having to monitor that customer to see what your exposure is on an ongoing.
How do we actually go about registering our security interest then? I presume there's some sort of website or form or something we need to fill in?
Yes, so you can go onto the government register and do it yourself. It's pretty complicated. It's pretty complicated to set up. You have to set up yourself as the supplier, as a secured party, and you have to get that right. Then you have to create the types of registration that you're going to need. Now, the legislation and the variables in a registration are so broad because they're trying to cater for all of those different types of security and different types of collateral. It's really, if you don't know what you're doing, then you would be getting your registration wrong. I can guarantee.
So Lynne has a product, I believe, that does this for people. So we may as well talk about that. So what is that called and how does it work?
So it's Access Intell. And the website is accessintell with 2Ls.com. And it's a PPSR platform. So we do everything for you. So we make sure that your terms and conditions create the required security interest.
How do we actually go about registering our security interest then? I presume there's some sort of website or form or something we need to fill in?
Yes, so you can go onto and then we create your secured party. We create your profiles to give you the highest possible priority under PPSA. And then we process your registrations for you. So there's lots of things that you can get wrong. And banks and financiers are renowned for getting things wrong. As we know, Sarah.
Actually, a funny story. I had a contact maybe 6 or 12 months ago it was a Facebook group, and they had put up a question about PPSR, and the bank had registered a financial interest against their machine, but it wasn't, they'd already paid, that either wasn't their debt or they paid it out and had it been removed. And I'm like, well, cross-check the VIN number to the PPSR. And when she did, it was not the right VIN number anyway. I was like, you can sell that machine because there's no registration. As long as you've paid out your debt to make sure you don't have ongoing debt and they don't chase. Her dad was sick and dying of cancer, and she's like, we just need this sorted. And I'm like, the VIN number's not registered with a registration against it. In fact, she did a search on a Zoom with me and it came up clear or whatever it says. And I was like, you've got your payout letter, you've paid them.
Error that can have a big impact.
Yeah. So imagine that financier that had registered that incorrectly. Imagine it's a $7 million aircraft that they've funded. Because they've got the serial number wrong, they have no security. So PPSA says that if a search of the register using a serial number does not reveal the registration, then the registration is seriously misleading. And then they say a seriously misleading registration is ineffective.
Yeah. This was like a $160,000 machine, but you can see how important it is then to get it done and do it right. And if you're not an expert in it, can somebody else to do it?
Yeah, the details, so important to get the details right.